people will get an idea, and I've seen people do this, will get an idea to use hot glue on fabric instead of sewing because they think, oh, it'll be faster, and it is not a good idea because you can tell it makes the fabric really stiff, and it is just all around not a good idea. If you can't sew, if you don't want to learn how to sew, find somebody that can and commission them to make your costume, because it really is not a good corner cutter to use hot glue on a costume.
And you burn yourself.
Pardon?
And you burn yourself.
You burn yourself. It doesn't look good. People can tell you've done it, and it ruins the fabric. So just all around, don't do it.
Unless you're using it to make props.
Yeah, it's okay on props. So some general cosplay tips. Glitter. I refer to most glitter as the herpes of the craft world. Seriously, once you've used glitter on most things, it gets on everything, and it seems like it is in your house forever. Like, seriously. My husband knows that I used glitter like 4 years before I met him. So if you really want to use glitter hairspray instead of body glitter, because it really does shed less. And that really is a great tip. For those of you that use hose, clear nail polish and hairspray will be your best friend on pantyhose. When you get a run, they really help to keep it from running further. So I know most women probably know that trick. My problem is I always forget to bring those things with me, and so when I need them, I don't have them. This is something you see a lot at conventions. The before here, you know, you see people wear like spandex, men or women really. You see people wear spandex, and you see cottage cheese butt, that's what I call it. And that's just gross. That's kind of what I call knowing your body type. Just don't be that person. Don't look like that. There are things you can wear underneath your pants, like no-show seamless panties, or things that can kind of hold you in to make you look better. Don't be cottage cheese butt. You know, it's just because I'm a bigger girl, and I look in the mirror before I go out because I don't want to look like that. And there's no reason for anybody to go out looking like this. So don't be cottage cheese butt. Definitely for guys, if you're cosplaying a character, I have no problem with crossplay. Like, seriously, if a guy wants to crossplay, I think it's fun. But if you're playing a girl, or if you're playing a character that doesn't have a beard, shave. I mean, freaking get rid of the beard. Because that's just wrong, man. I mean, who's seen the picture on the internet of the guy that's being Sailor Moon? Like the big fat dude that's Sailor Moon and he's got the big beard? I mean, shave. For the love of God, shave the beard. So, if you're wearing any white in your costume whatsoever, bring a bleach pen. Because seriously, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm wearing white, I will spill on myself. Or somebody will spill on me. I'll spill coffee, I will spill something. And a bleach pen will save your costume. Otherwise, your costume's going to get ruined. When you're trying to make something that has props, I'm going to say a couple things about stuff like this. One, when you're trying to make something that's in-depth and has props, try looking up tutorials. Like, even if you have some ideas on how to make what you want to make, still look up tutorials online on how other people have done it, because you might get some really cool ideas that you hadn't thought of that'll either be easier or cheaper that you could combine with your idea. So, you know, definitely always look up on how other people have done stuff. The other thing is, when you're planning a costume, think about the convention that you're going to. A costume like this might be okay for a regional convention like EvilleCon. But a costume like this, if you're going to someplace like Gen Con, is almost stupid. Because Gen Con is like sardine cans when you're trying to walk through like the vendor hall. And you'd be like bumping into people, and your costume would probably get ruined. I mean, it looks really cool, but your costume would probably get ruined. You would bump into people, you would probably hurt people, you'd probably put somebody's eye out. It's just really big costumes and really big accessories at a really big convention are a bad idea. It's okay. So, as far as stuff like that goes, really think about the convention that you're going to be at when you're planning a cosplay.
There's a panel room down here. If you check down here.
And this is a big one. If somebody else is planning a cosplay that uses similar props to something that you have, even if it's your best friend, think long and hard before you say, "Oh, you can use my sword," because no matter if they're your best friend or not, props can get broken, and a lot of time and money go into those things. And if it isn't strong enough to not get broken, no matter how bad your best breast. I was just playing a bad game. No matter how bad your best friend feels, they might not have the money or the time to replace it. So think long and hard before you just say, "Here, borrow my prop."
Yeah, I got a perfect example of that. My cousin, he dressed up as Zelda and as Link, and had his best friend who was also dressed up as Link. His best friend borrowed the sword and sheath, walked down the thing, something in the back broke and hit the ground and actually broke it. Cracked it all the way up, pretty much cracked the sheath and the sword on the inside.
Yeah. And that stuff happens. And it's one thing if you break your own stuff, but when other people break your stuff, it's really hard not to be upset at them. And no matter how bad they feel, if they can't replace it, then it kind of makes awkwardness. And this is a big one for me. Some people don't feel the same way, but I really hate trashy cosplay. I don't mind revealing cosplay, but I feel like there's a line that shouldn't be crossed. Like the girl on the left, well, my left if I'm facing, I guess it's the right. But anyway, the girl on that side, you know, she's got some revealing clothes on, but she's still classy. And there can be cosplays that are even more revealing than that are still classy. But the girl on this side is just kind of trashy, and the way she's sitting is trashy. And this is something else I say, think about where you're going to be. Think about the fact that people bring their kids to conventions, and you know, people don't necessarily want their kids looking at your boobs hanging out. There was a girl at Gen Con last year. I don't even know how she was keeping her nipples in her outfit. Like, it just came to like right here. And then everything else, the thing came down to here. It was just really uncalled for.
Things that make you go, boo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, she should have been in a porno movie, not in a cosplay. And it was just a little bit too much. And I love costumes. And like I said, I don't mind something that's revealing. But I just feel like there's a line that doesn't need to be crossed. And she was crossing it. Just, I mean, stay classy. And then, you know, again, knowing your angles, knowing your body when you're choosing a cosplay. Look at yourself when you pick a cosplay, and like for myself, I know what I can and can't get away with, and I wouldn't dress up as Luna. I mean, I can't pull that off. I don't do anything that shows midriff, and I don't wear anything that, you know, my butt's gonna hang out of because of that. And, you know, I don't want to be plastered all over the internet because I look like her. So, know what your best angles are. You don't want to be the person everybody's taking pictures of at the con because you look like an idiot. You want people to be taking pictures of you because you have a really awesome cosplay. So, and that's something to think about too. A lot of times, you know, you see a gazillion like Pokemons. Like you see a ton of Pikachus. You see, what else do you see a ton of? Oh yeah, you see a ton of like Sailor Scouts. Huh? I haven't seen a lot of Inuyasha.
Oh, I've seen a lot of them.
I've seen Inuyasha here, there, and everywhere. Almost every
I guess
panel
I
I
just
went to had an
haven't watched
Inuyasha.
And the Italian characters have been overdone at this one, too.
Yeah. So whenever you're planning a cosplay,
Well, today is
try to think of something you don't see all the time and then own the crap out of it. Be unique.
Yes! Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. You know, do something that people don't see every day. Like, there was a girl earlier that was a weeping angel from Doctor Who.
Wow.
I saw that.
It was badass. Like, you don't see weeping angels every day. You know? It was awesome. This is Hypnotic. She's one of our D20 girls. So, you know, the thing is, you know, you might love Pikachu, but, and I really like Pokemon, but I also really like Jinx. For the people that are older that used to like Pokemon, does anybody know who Jinx is?
Yes!
Yes.
So if I were to dress up as a Pokemon, I would dress up as Jinx because nobody dresses up as Jinx. So, you know, pick something that's more unique so that you can own the crap out of your cosplay.
Even Voltex today.
Awesome. See, now you don't see that as much.
You can come through.
Yeah, come on in. This is another one that's a big deal, and I've seen this a lot at Gen Con. I think shoes can make or break a cosplay. And if you can't find the right shoes, because like, honestly, shoes can get expensive. Shoes can be like $150 by themselves.
Whoa.
So if you can't find the right shoes or you can't afford the right shoes, for like $20 or less, get some fabric and cover your shoes up to match your cosplay. Make them look like boots or something. And it looks a lot better than your crappy sneakers, rather than wearing some worn out sneakers that ruin the entire costume. All right, some makeup tips, which is kind of, do you want to kind of present this? Because this is her area of study, so.
I'm going to be graduating my aesthetics course next month. So.
It's running like.
Yeah, it's. There has been maybe once or twice that I have put in my circle lenses after my makeup. It's once you have the mascara and maybe the fake eyelashes on, it's really hard. And it gets smeared all over. It's just, and then your eyes might get water if you're not used to them, and it's just. Contacts, after you like wash your face, prepare for the day, that's when you put in the contacts. I actually never used henna before. That was that's something I should have done. So yeah, to make scars, use henna a week before the con so it fades just to look right. Sometimes if you use a paint right away, who here has been to Michael Salsad's panel? He made a point about how he didn't want to get his hair cut before the con because he didn't want to get that just new haircut look, you know, where it's still kind of like eh. So he kept holding it back. Same thing with this paint. You can tell sometimes when you paint your face that you just painted it on.
Or it looks like a brand new tattoo.
So it looks like a brand new tattoo rather than, you know, like a cut or a scar, things like that. So have it in just a couple of weeks, days beforehand. You can let it fade out a little bit. You can.
I prefer to use latex for scars.
My instructor, she's a pro at airbrushing, and she made like this disgusting like burn, like scorch marks all over my other instructor's face, and she just walked around looking like a zombie. It was awesome. I think when using body paint, apply baby oil first and let it sink in for 15 minutes. A lot of oils, I'm trying to figure out how the best way to put this. For one thing, oils are like the best thing to use when taking any kind of makeup off. Believe it or not, you just have to know which kind of oils to use. For example, something like baby oil, not good for your face, good for your body. Oils that you can use on your face to wash makeup off with is maybe olive oil, jojoba oil. I would say extra virgin olive oil is your best guess because you can find that at any grocery store, whereas other oils that are specifically for your face, you'd have to go to like specific skin stores or like health food stores. And just going to Walmart and picking up a bottle of extra virgin olive oil just to wipe. And also, don't be afraid to use baby wipes because they're cheap. They're nice to use, and so a lot of times makeup removers, they're like the exact same thing. They might just have another fragrance, and they're like $4 more because it's. But don't be afraid to use. I remember when I was doing makeup crew at school in high school, we had Cottonelle baby wipes to wash off after every play that we did or dress rehearsal. We didn't.
I don't know that I have them.
Yeah, all those baby wipes.
I haven't used wigs in a really long time. I took a wig class in college, but I'm trying to get back into them. But I'm sure, do I see anybody in here with a wig? You've kind of got a long one. But yours is curly. When you're brushing a long wig, never start. It's kind of like this with regular hair too. Never start from the top and brush from the down. You want to start from the bottom and brush up. If you start from the top, you're going to start pulling the hair out of the wig, and unlike real hair, it's not going to grow back. You're going to ruin your wig. So brush from the bottom and work your way up. This is true. When a wig is cheap, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get what you pay for. If you buy a $5 wig, you're going to get a $5 wig. But when a wig is cheap or it's unnaturally shiny, you can use baby powder on like a blush brush or a powder brush, and just tap it a little bit on the wig, and you can kind of get it to be not so crazy shiny. And it really does work. We did that in college to bring the shine down a little bit. Dry foam shampoo. My mom actually just got finished with, she had cancer, and so she had to use a wig. And she used the dry foam shampoo on her wig. And it works really well for wigs. So I highly recommend dry foam shampoo when you're trying to shampoo wigs. Don't use regular shampoo like for your hair on wigs. It will tear up your wigs. So when washing your wigs, use dry foam shampoo. And also, if you don't have time to wash your real hair, the dry foam shampoo rocks. And wig caps, always make sure you have some backup wig caps. But if you're running short on them, I know guys aren't going to have these laying around, but girls, if you're running short on wig caps, cut off the feet of your pantyhose, because they work great. Yeah, this one's really good. If you try not to wear makeup with a white wig, because it really can screw up the colors on your white wig. When I, in the past, did have to wear wigs for theater, we would not wear a lot of foundation with white wigs, because the foundation really would screw up any bangs or anything that would be near the face. And these are all really good. When you wear a wig, even ones that obviously aren't natural, you want them to look as natural as possible when they're sitting on your head. So some tips to make sure that there's no bumps under the wig cap. If you have longer hair, or hair that's long enough to do this at all, then make 2 braids and crisscross them underneath the wig cap. And then use bobby pins to hold them down. And, excuse me. Or you can make pin curls. Has anybody here ever done pin curls? Awesome. You've done a few. Pin curls is actually how they used to curl their hair, like back in the 40s and 50s. Like my mom tells me all about how they used to pin curl their hair when she was a little girl. You just kind of curl your hair and then use 2 bobby pins like in an X, and pin curl your hair all around, and then you put the wig cap on over your hair. And that's how I do it because I don't have long hair. And you really end up with a nice flat look with the wig cap over it. So, and this is right too. If you have really long hair like Jessica, I would suggest that she do the braid thing and then wear 2 wig caps.
That's what my mom would do when I was younger. We didn't have wig caps and she just went braid them.
Okay, some tips. These are just some basic convention tips. These aren't really cosplay tips. They're just some good tips all around for when you go to convention. Well, yeah, for cosplay as well. If you're staying at a hotel, always bring spare hangers and an iron, because you know sometimes the hotel has an iron, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have an iron and it doesn't work. Sometimes they have hangers but there's not enough, or they have hangers that don't come off and you need them to come off. So it always helps to bring that stuff. This is a big thing for me. If you're wearing cosplay, take plenty of pictures of yourself. Because like the con itself, you might be like running like crazy to all your events and things, and you might never remember to get pictures of yourself. I mean, there might be a ton of people taking pictures of you, but you might not get a picture of yourself. Or in my case, at Gen Con last year, my camera got stolen, so all the pictures that I had of myself on my camera disappeared. If I had taken any pictures of myself on my phone, I would have still had pictures of me, but I didn't. So I have no pictures of the cosplays that I took together last year. So I wish I had actually taken some pictures of myself.
I know, but I have to change. So like I have to do it now.
When somebody does take a picture of your cosplay, if they are professional at all, ask for their card or their information, like exchange email or something, because it's always helpful to see their pictures. The great thing about the fact, I mean, it's not great that my camera got stolen last year, but there was one guy who, he really liked my steampunk costume last year, and he insisted that he get my email address so he could send me the picture he took. And it came in really handy because the D20 Girls puts out a magazine quarterly, and I actually wrote an article about putting together a steampunk costume on a budget, and I needed a picture of that costume. The only picture I had was the one that he took, and he sent it to me. So I was able to use the picture he sent to me, and I was like, random picture of guy from Gen Con. But I had that picture because he sent it to me, so I was really, really lucky that he had insisted on sending that to me. So it's always good to exchange info when people ask you if they can take your picture.
Bless you.
This is really good. Conventions and elaborate cosplay really, really do dehydrate you. So try to remember to drink lots of water when you're at a convention. And it doesn't hurt. Just bring one water bottle, and most convention halls have, you know, drinking fountains, and you can refill your water bottle as many times as you want without spending money. So, you know, bring your water bottle and refill it. If you're in a cosplay contest, this is really handy to have a scrapbook of the progress of the making of your cosplay, because sometimes the judges really like to see how the process that you went through in making your cosplay. I know in the past when I've judged contests, it's really been helpful to see what they did to make their costumes in helping judge who the winners were going to be. This is another big one for the hotel. Bringing extension cords and surge protectors, especially if you've got multiple people staying in a hotel room, which happens a lot with the D20 Girls, because when we're staying in hotel rooms, a lot of times conventions will give us a hotel room, but they'll give us one hotel room for like 6 or 7 of us. So yeah, put like 6 or 7 girls in one hotel room and see how you do. Yeah, you need an extension rooms and surge protectors. You need extension cords and surge protectors. So definitely think about bringing those things. This is another thing, when you are in cosplay and people want your picture, try to remember to take off your badge or flip it behind your back, because it makes your cosplay look a lot better. And that's a big one too. If you set your bags down for pictures, try to keep an eye on, because there are people that are going to steal stuff, because I'm pretty sure that's how my camera got stolen. And this is so true. I think this, we had so much we had to get done for this convention that I made a checklist of all the panels and all the stuff we needed to get done for this on my phone, and I was checking things off. And there's some pony lovers in here, I see. So make checklists of all the, if you're at a con, make checklists of all the events you want to go to. It helps so much. If you know you're going to be outside a lot, even if you think you tan, wear sunscreen, because you don't want to end up with a sunburn like the first day of a con and then spend the next 2 or 3 days with a sunburn, because that like sucks balls.
Mm-hmm. Not just sunburn though, it's also the whole fact about it, you know, sunscreen is your best anti-aging product for those of you who are, I'm sure there's nobody here that has that problem, but you know, if you're worried about the future and you want to look younger, longer,
Yeah, I mean,
sunscreen, 90%.
There's a lot of young people in here, and you guys don't want to, like, you guys don't want to be my age, and, like, I don't know if, can anybody here tell that I'm 35?
No.
I've stayed out of the sun. Yeah, I've stayed out of the sun for like my entire life because I burn like crazy, and I think that's probably, you know, a lot of people are like, "There's no way you're 35." Well, it's probably because I haven't spent much time in the sun. So yeah, sunscreen's your friend. This is a big one. If you are in a really popular cosplay, give yourself extra time to get to anything you're going to, because people are going to ask you for your picture like every 5 minutes. They're just going to. Don't act like it's a big deal. Don't act troubled. Don't act like it bothers you. Just stop and smile. Let them take your picture and then move on. So just allow yourself extra time to get to the water fountain or to the bathroom or to the panel that you want to go to, and deal with it. And this is a big one. I've forgotten 2 days in a row not to bring batteries for my camera. And so now I have to have my husband take pictures with his camera because I didn't bring batteries for mine. So yeah, bring batteries for the camera. And yeah, don't sleep in the hallways. Like, I've done it, so I can't say that it's a complete no-no because I've done it. But if you do, expect people to step on you because people don't watch the floor. And you might want to check the weather before the con, because what you wear for your cosplay might factor into that. If you have a cosplay that you really, really don't want to get wet and it's going to rain for the whole con, that might be a big deal. Because like I know for Gen Con, that takes place in like 4 different buildings, and sometimes you have to go between the different places. You might not want to be walking between different buildings in something you don't want to get wet if it's going to be raining for 4 days. So check the weather before you plan to wear something that you don't want to get wet. Yeah, this is a big one. Using your inside voice when you're inside and your outside voice outside. Be conscious of people. Yes. People really appreciate it when you bathe. And yeah, I talked about this a little bit earlier. Just be careful. If you do insist on carrying large props, just be careful with them. If you want to hug people, don't just assume it's okay with them. At least ask them first. Because, like, not everybody wants to be hugged by a complete stranger. So, if you want to hug a complete stranger, ask them if it's okay. I mean, I don't want Voldemort to hug you.
I don't think Draco wanted it either.
Probably not. He doesn't look too happy. What?
What about Orochimaru?
No.
Yes.
So that's it, everybody. Thank you for coming to our convention. Did we have any questions?
I'm just curious about, and when you're talking about the wigs with the hair, is I had someone tell me to use hair gel to keep the flyaways down and to get that help and put the cap on.
That does help. Hair gel or hairspray.
Because I got the really heavy hair too.
That does really help.
Bobby pins don't like to hold it just by itself.
I prefer hair mousse to hair gel.
Okay.
Just because it's not as heavy and it's easier to wash out. But either one will work.
What would you suggest for like scarf and coverage though?
Oh, for your cosplays?
Well, no, I actually have scarf on.
Actually, latex works really well for scar coverage. Just if you get liquid latex and just put it over that, and let it dry, and then you use your regular makeup to get it to match your skin. It covers scars really well.
Yeah, I'm like, child, why you insult Derek Brown?
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes. He said he doubted
You
Derek Brown.
said you wouldn't pay for with a $5 wig. What would you suggest is a good resource for purchasing wigs?
What is the name? My favorite wig company starts with an E.
In what? I just say eBay. So you guys are online or what? They're doing the cosplay thing right now.
There are several different companies online that sell really good wigs. Generally, read the reviews of the company. There are some decent ones on eBay, honestly. My advice on picking a wig, anything under like $20, $25 is probably not a good quality wig. If it is under $20, $25, read the reviews before you purchase it. But even over that, still read the reviews. It might be good, probably is good, but always read the reviews. Anything I'm going to purchase online, I always read the reviews first. I do that with any costume piece. Because if other people have purchased it and put in reviews, then, they're going to, and I do the same thing. If I purchase something, I'm going to put in a review so that future people can see what I have said about a product. So, I can't remember the name of the company that was like, I'm really sorry right now. It starts with an E. So, there's a wig company, their wigs average around $40, and it starts with an E. Off the top of my head, I can't think what it's called, but it's really easy to find if you search for wigs or costume wigs online. It starts with an E.
$15 wigs from costume shops.
I think there's a Dragon Ball Z discussion.
Anne's Wig Shop. Yeah, Anne's Wig Shop does have some decent wigs, but also there are decent wigs and costume
The entire variety section that anime requires.
Yeah, yeah. The cheaper wigs, like when you buy cheaper wigs, what happens as soon as you start to comb them, they either get really tangled up, or you start to comb them and you see the scalp and the hair starts falling. So they're basically a one shot, and you can't style them. So. Yeah, when you get the more expensive wigs, you can style them because they have enough hair that you can put the different styles in. You can comb them, you can wash them, you can even use heat on them. So, no, they're like $40, $50. They're between $40 and $80 for those. So they're yeah, between like 40 and 80. You can use heat on them, you can wash them. They're decent wigs. So I think the one I'm looking at one for a Chobits cosplay, and I think because of the length of that one, it's like 5 feet long. That one's like 60. So, and I think that one's a cosplay.com.
Like they made Japanese. Has anybody heard of cosplaymagic.com? That was fun last year. Avoid it. It's a lot of those websites where they're like very popular. They overprice them for a reason because they know they can get away with it because they put up ads, people can see them. Whereas they're not very good quality because they're passed out, like they make them so quick. I think there's a lot of if you just look up just people who actually make them, like just people who hand make them themselves. Kelsey, does my
A lot of the times they make them just because they know that they're not as well
I can
known.
show people pictures of you.
So I literally get all my cosplay outfits from this one lady called Cosplay Fly 2010 on eBay, and she makes really good quality cosplay. So things like Cosplay Magic, those really popular cosplay websites, they're generally not very good quality and they're overpriced.
I wish I could remember the name of the other really popular cosplay site. It's a really popular site that, yeah, they've screwed for a lot of the D20 girls.
Yeah, so this on the TV and on the
And Amanda got something from them that was made so badly on behalf of her.
But yeah, those really popular.
But yeah, just buyer beware when you purchase online. Read reviews. Be careful. Anybody else have questions?
It's a good, durable, decently inexpensive fabric. I have a tendency to destroy my regular clothes, so.
It depends on whether or not you want to dye your fabric or if you want to buy it already done. If you want to dye your fabric, a really good durable fabric is a really thick muslin. Not now, you can get really cheap muslin and that's going to rip. But you can get a really thick muslin or canvas, and those are really strong, good, but they come in like really plain colors and you would have to dye them, which you can actually do in your washing machine with red dye, and which comes in any color you want as long as afterwards you run a spin cycle with bleach, and then you can wash your clothes in there and never have to worry about it. And those are absolutely very strong fabrics to use. So, my husband tears through all his clothes, and if he ever wants to cosplay, I'll probably dye clothes and make them out of canvas for him. So,
I don't think so, but I'm not going to my
that's those are probably would be my suggestion: is dyeing your fabric and doing that way. Just look for anything that, like when you're looking at fabrics in stores, look for anything that, like brocade, is very, very thick and hard to rip. Anything that feels very thick and feels like when, like there's several layers to it, that's what you want to look for, like a good weave. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you guys all for coming.
I'm sorry again.
Okay.